And this is an interesting one. We don't talk a lot about this on this program. It's not really, um, we don't get a lot of calls about it, honestly. Um, it's not that it's not important, and it's not that you as a person don't really drive all of it either. Clinical issues drive it, relational issues drive it, and performance issues drive it. So, what is the mystery topic that I'm talking about? You and your money. Now, I don't sound a lot like Dave Ramsey. I wish I could sometimes. If I talk about money, I'd like to sound like Dave Ramsey. If y'all don't, if you're not a Dave Ramsey fan, then you would do well to look him up. A lot of good stuff. A lot of good stuff. If you're in debt, go find Dave Ramsey. He will help you get out of debt. But we don't talk a lot about here. But here's what, and as Dave Ramsey would also say, that's how we became close friends and do a lot of stuff together, that money is really not about money. Money is not about a lot of times the systems that you find yourself in. Money, primarily at the individual level, money is about behavior for the most part. Now, I do understand, don't send me angry letters. I do understand lack of opportunities and, oppressive systems and all that kind of stuff. It's true. And we should be really focusing on that a lot. And I do personally. I hope you do too. I hope you give towards alleviating poverty and alleviating oppressive systems in wherever we find them. But I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about individuals and money individually. When you get to the individual level of people, normal people in a normal kind of path, understand this year has not been normal. So again, if you've been suffering from the layoffs and all that kind of stuff, it's goodness, my heart goes out to you. And I hope that those of you who are not are giving in some way to the people that have been laid off and can't find work and all of that. Really important. So, but that's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about here today is for those of you who have money, what do you do with it? What do you do with it? See, money is not anything in and of itself. It's got to be attached to a person to do anything. And it ends up being energy. It's a tool. You've heard the phrase, money is the root of all evil. That's not what the Bible says. The Bible does not say that. People misquote that all the time. What it says is, it doesn't say money is the root of all evil. It says the love of money is the root of many kinds of evil. Okay? It also says that people who love money will never have enough of it. Never. You can't satisfy greed. But it's got to be attached to a heart to do good or evil. So really, with the money we have, what we're talking about is the behavior that comes from our hearts on what we do with it. All right. Now, I just wanted to give you a simple little question today for the money that you have. Okay. Is that energy, which is the way I look at it, it's a tool. It can do things if we pick it up and do something with it. Is that tool kind of like a hammer? Is it being used to build something of value? Or are you taking that hammer and kind of maybe hitting ourselves in the head with it? Not helping ourselves at all, or just waving it in the air? Okay. I want you to look at that. Now, I talk a lot on this program, about 3 big areas of life. in a pie. The clinical arena is your thriving and well-being, okay? You're thriving and well-being clinically. What do I mean by clinical? Stuff you go to a doctor or a shrink for. Depression, anxiety, your moods, fears, panic disorders, addictions, energy levels, tiredness, feelings of lostness, can't concentrate, PTSD, all of that stuff. I'm a clinical psychologist by training, and we treat things that hurt, okay? So that piece of the pie. The second piece of the pie is your relationships, marriage, parenting, friendship, community, work relationships, all of that, all things relational. And thirdly is performance, which means taking your talents and gifts and putting them into fruition. In other words, instead of having fantasies, oh, I wish I could do this, or I wish I could do that, or having goals that we never reach, or we just kind of flounder or get off track and start and stop and all of that. The performance arena of life, when it's working, is the ability to find something that matters to us, find something that we have a talent or a gift at, put our hand to the till, start to plow, and end up with a plant at the end of the season. That's what we mean by performance. Could be a hobby, could be a vocation, a job, a project, whatever. Reaching goals. All right. Here's my question to you. And by the way, a lot of people say, well, where's the faith part of the pie? You left out faith. No, I didn't. Faith is not a slice of the pie. Your spiritual well-being is not a slice. You're going to compartmentalize your spiritual life to what? Sunday, you go to church on Sunday and that's it? No, it runs through all of them. All of them are spiritual at their heart. That's why I said it goes to this. Our spiritual life is going to affect our clinical life, how we feel. Our spiritual life is going to affect how we relate, and it's going to affect how we perform. So it goes through all of them. Now here's a question. You got some money. Are you investing that money in the places of those three arenas in life to make them better? That would be a great way to think about how you're using your money. Okay. Clinically, maybe it's time to, I'm going to use this as a metaphor. Okay. I know in lockdown, this is hard in a lot of places, but let's say you go out to eat a few times a week or whatever. Okay. Well, what if you didn't spend that? If you don't have a lot of discretionary income, what if you didn't spend it on that and you spend it on getting better in some way in your anxiety or fears or addictions or whatever? Maybe you could add a group or add a therapy session or buy some books or, subscribe to some program where you learn. Boundaries.me is an example of that. Invest something in getting better this year instead of investing in something that we're not going to really have a return for. I remember when I was really, really depressed way back when, which I've told you about, I've written about. I was I was making $3.33 an hour right out of college at a psychiatric hospital, and so depressed at the same time through periods of it, and I'm still working through a lot of stuff. And it was hard paying for that therapy session at $3 an hour. Tough. And I talked the therapist into, giving me a discount. But the point is, sometimes getting well is where we need to be looking at spending some of our resources or on books or courses or whatever. Relationships. Sometimes it might be, maybe it's time to go see a counselor about that and, fork out a little money for this, or marriage counseling. Or how about your marriage? Maybe you could put a line item in the budget. What are we going to spend this year? Tori and I do this. We have a budget for relationships. Okay. First of all, family and us. We have a budget. This is what we are going to invest this year on going and doing some things and some experiences together as a family to build the strength of our family. And we have a number for that we invest. Okay. Part of that is quarterly, overnights or 2 nights for her and just her and me. Part of it's for the family. But we have a budget for it. Okay. Or going to a retreat or whatever it is. If you're single, how about a getaway with you and your close group of friends? My daughter is doing this. She's taking some of her money and they're going to get an Airbnb. She and her little group over the New Year's holiday, investing in relationships. And then thirdly, in your goals. Probably when I was in my 20s, and by then I was working and making money. And I'm telling you, a large amount of it went to investing in further education, past school, workshops, seminars, trainings, expensive supervisors and mentors. And it's worth it. The Bible says if you have to sell everything, buy wisdom. Take your money and buy wisdom because wisdom will help you reach your goals. Okay. So I say all that to say this. Look at those 3 areas of life: your clinical arena, your relationships, and your reaching your goals, and ask yourself, am I spending enough money in the 3 areas of life where life actually comes from versus spending it on crap? And we all do this. Now there are some crappy things that bring meaning to us, right? We want to have stuff in our life, but we don't need all the stuff and we don't need the next new shiny everything. You know, 1 or 2 pieces of crap is enough, right? Until we invest in the stuff that brings life. So just ask yourself this question: is how we spend our money bringing me life, or is it just medicating me for 10 minutes while I don't have a life, or I don't have life where I want it to be? Okay. Think about that. Think about that.